Good morning. You see, your personality, your psyche has various dimensions. It's dependent a lot on what you have been brought to think. And many times, a person is progressive or regressive. I'm not using conservative, I'm using the word regressive, who withdraws and who is continuously looking to the back is because he believes what he has been taught all the time, old is gold. We revel in this image. We talk of the old things, old architecture, old music. You see, old is gold, but there are certain reservations. And if you cannot differentiate between what old is gold and what old is mold, you are in for trouble. You might have been a fawn and a connoisseur of the old things. Then you are an antiquarian. Nothing wrong with that. But if you want to live in the modern world, in a competitive world, in a world which old has a limited value, you have got to get rid of this notion old is gold. And if whatever gold is there, you have got to remove the dross on that gold. Even the old gold loses its shine. You see, normally what happens is olden, golden period is because it creates around you a comfort zone. And that comfort zone makes you lethargic, makes you complacent, makes you believe in acceptance. That makes you also a mental cripple. You might not agree with it because you have been conditioned to think that old is gold and that there's a need to come out of that. I agree that there are many good things in the old which are like nuggets. They have to be brought out, polished, and used, but not necessarily. I've seen people saying, my dad used to say so, my grandfather used to say so, my mom used to say so. Simply because your dad, your granddad used to say, does not make it perfect or applicable to your life. You know, the moment you start accepting old is gold, you are indulging in a pastime that stunts your mental growth, makes you feel, as I said, complacent, makes you live in your comfort zone, a cocoon built around you, and you become less competitive, and your spirit of fight is dulled. This is not good. You know, don't forget that the personal dynamics of life change. And when the personal dynamics change, you have got to change along with them, or you're left behind. Now, there are two parts of the old which you can have. There's one part which is just for you, for your inner self. You want to enjoy the old music? Fair enough, because you're not impinging on others. What you enjoy in music or in old books, classics, is a comfort zone for your soul, and it strengthens it. But then you say that, okay, an example of sati is an old story. Joint families, old story. And if you still believe in those customs and traditions because they are old, then of course you are in for a rude shock. And that is, you know, it's like that. You're living boxed in a room. The room is closed on all the sides. There are no windows, no curtains, everything is walled around. And you don't have even a ray of sunshine. What happens? You are quite happy inside. You are getting your food and you are getting everything. People come in and talk to you. But you rarely move out to see the ray of sun. Your interaction is stunted. You might become happy with your old things, but you are living like a vegetable. And that at one age might be acceptable. At one time that might be a virtue. But when you are in a competitive world, then it's not a virtue, that's a vice. Then it's gripping your growth, tripping you up, making you fall on your back and see the stars in the daylight. You see, people hang on to their redundant old beliefs, old ways of functioning, and they become incapable of exploring the new ways. Similarly, it's like that. You put anything in the home and don't look after it. Don't let the fresh air come. It starts to rot. A mold sets in. A fungus sets in. Similarly, your brain, if it's not exposed to the freshness of the new ideas, would become moldy, age, wither away. And you might be a walking, talking, eating, sleeping corpse, a dead body. A soul, a body which is alive, but soul and mental faculties are dead. Now, I'm not saying that you have to throw everything out. As I said earlier, you have got to be judgmental in this thing. And not only that, you have got to be discriminative enough to decide what is right and what is wrong. Simply because your ancestors said something or did something, or your teachers and the gurus have said something, you accept it, that's not done. Now, you see, many times people use the quotations as if they are the wisdom incarnate, the precious stones of wisdom. I call the use of quotations as a vomit. You have eaten something, could not digest it, and vomited it out. If an old quotation has affected you, then practice it in your life and change your personality according to that. But using a quotation to make a point shows that you can't think for yourself. Many times people quote scriptures to me that such and such guru said so and so. My question to them is, what do you say? And is it correct? And in what context the guru said? Does that context relevant now? Is that relevant today? And if it's not, why accept it? As a matter of fact, use of quotations is a sign of weak intellect, weak mind, and a person whose thinking faculties are either non-existent or still in infantile stage. You have got to do one thing very clearly. Start with a premise. Old is not gold, old is mold. Take examples from all over. And when a mold sets in, what do? If it's rotten to the core, you throw it out. And if you can clean it up, you use that product. Same is about everything old. Pick it up, seize it up, examine it, remove, and if you find it's rotten to the core, as I said, the example of sati, or marrying your widowed sister-in-law, then throw them out. But in case you feel that it has some value, clean it up, wipe it off all the dirt that has accumulated around it, polish it up, remove the dross, and then it no longer remains old, it has become new. So the process of renewal is important. It's not the process of using an old thing. It's a process of using the old thing in a new way. Old is gold is valid as long as your thinking faculties are not working. Old is gold is valid as long as you have adopted the style of escapism. Old is gold is relevant when you think of life as a battle which you have already lost and you have no desire to win. Old is gold is right when you lack the mental faculties to have your own say. And this is a path of least resistance. Old is gold is for nincompoops, for infantile people, people with limited capabilities, and people who are unsure of themselves. The dependence on anecdotes, the dependence on proverbs, the dependence on the examples of your ancestors and your leaders are a way to immure yourself, not a way to advance in a competitive social milieu. I'm not talking of economy. I'm talking of the competitive social milieu. In a different manner, whatever happened in the world was in that social context, it was okay, perfectly fine. In that political system, it was perfectly fine. Today, you are living in a new age, a new era, a new social system, a new political system, a new economic system. How can the things of old be relevant today? And once you get out of the rut, you would find that life would not only be more charming and more beautiful, it would be more enjoyable as well. You've got to challenge yourself. When you say old is gold, it's not challenging. You start challenging by the old established values. And in the process, you are going to challenge yourself. And this process of challenging is going to make you worth a man. Because when you challenge, you re-energize yourself. So on the one side, you have the very easy way out, quote somebody from the hoary past, use that as a crutch, and exist, not live. The other option is challenge, make your own quotations, and then live. You see, mere breathing, eating, walking, sleeping is not life. Worms also eat. Ants also breathe. Snails also move. Are you a worm, a snail, an ant? You are not. As a human being, with distinctive capability to think, to reason, to advance knowledge, acceptance of the old, acceptance and adherence to the values that have no relevance, using aphorisms, adverbs, proverbs, and quotations. They are signs of decadence. They are signs of your brain developing fungus, mold, as they say. Get over that impediment for a better personality, for a better psyche, and for a better life. Stop saying old is gold. Say old is mold. That might be the first step. Because once it's mold, then the next step would be either to use it after cleaning it up or throw it in the garbage. Choice is yours. Good day.